Well, I failed. I'm back in America, and I'm going to tell you how I failed as a full-time traveler and how I'm fixing it. I'm going to start off by explaining the dream that I had. I saved up about $50,000, and I thought that was going to get me only 7 months because I wasn't going to spend it all. I wanted to come back with some money, and somewhere in between, that changed into me wanting to be a full-time traveler. We traveled not just 7 months, but almost 2 years. But yet, I failed. I failed as a full-time traveler because I'm not traveling right now. I'm back in Austin, Texas, where it's not bad to be, but it's not Thailand, it's not Vietnam. I'm not on a 2-mile-long island anymore. And I will say, it kind of all started in the beginning. When I packed up everything, I made a video on my road trip from Texas to Maryland to visit my family before I fly off for God knows. And I posted that video on TikTok and it went viral. And I mean like really viral. I gained about 10,000 followers overnight. So I ended up having, I think, like 16,000 followers. So I thought, I was like, this is the beginning. I'm going to be a content creator. I'm going to make this my thing and I'm going to travel forever. Or so I thought. And I actually didn't even start a YouTube channel until maybe halfway through our Nepal trip. So maybe like 2 months into our trip. Okay, so I made a list of the reasons for my downfall. And they're kind of all over the place, so just stick with me. First of all, yes, I spent about 2 years traveling. But how much of that was I actually traveling? I spent most of this time working, making videos, editing, making sure my thumbnails are the best, making sure SEO was perfect. I mean, I literally spent, I'd say a good 80% of my waking day editing. I'd spend 3 hours on a TikTok video. Some of my most viral videos are me literally taking a video, no editing, it's 10 seconds long and I post it. I've spent way too long trying to be a full-time traveler. Trying to be a full-time content creator, I should say, in the travel niche. Another hard truth, especially if you're trying to be a full-time traveler, is 90% of the people that follow you are only following you to watch your downfall, to watch you fail. So when that viral video went out, everyone's like, oh, she's gonna be homeless in a month and yada, yada, yada. And when they realized after like 5-6 months that I'm still traveling and I'm still living an amazing freaking life, they unfollowed me. They didn't want to see me succeed. They didn't want to see me enjoy my life. And honestly, most of my videos were about how to travel, how to do this for a long term. They were educational videos so that I could inspire other people to do so. They might have wanted that for themselves, but they never saw that for themselves. They didn't believe that they could do it, and therefore, they only wanted to watch me fail because they thought they would fail. Which, I'm not gonna lie, when I'm spending 3 hours editing a minute-long TikTok video, which I'll never do again, and I only get 300 views, or even worse, I lose followers for, that was detrimental to me, honestly. And it would happen with pretty much every video. Even if a video went viral, I was losing more followers than I was making. And I just could not wrap my head around why. What was I doing wrong? Why wasn't I making it? Other people were getting more and more followers each video. Why wasn't I? And honestly, it's because the first video that I made on that road trip was all those people telling me that I was gonna fail. And they followed me to watch me fail. I can guarantee you the people that followed me, that were other travelers or people wanting to travel, they stayed. They're still following me right now. But that was later on in the trip, and most of my followers came from right before I started. Another part of my downfall is, I'm not gonna lie, traveling 2 years with a significant other is hard, and it almost caused us a relationship multiple times. First of all, I'm stuck in a 1-bedroom hotel room with my boyfriend for almost 2 years. Yes, sometimes we got an apartment, but we were always in the same house. We were always together. At one point, we decided, oh, we're gonna spend an hour a day apart. Okay, so I spent 23 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year with my boyfriend for almost 2 years. That would break anyone up. And the reason was because I was scared. I was scared to go out and do a bunch of things by myself. Yes, I did some things by myself, But other things, maybe like a trip to another island. I wanted to go with my boyfriend. And yes, he went to India and Laos for a month while I stayed back and was in Bali and Vietnam, but half of that time was with a person I met there. And yes, I did spend 2 weeks in Vietnam by myself, but still, 90% of the time we spent together, hip and hip. And we started to get in a lot of fights. Thank God we have a really good, open, honest relationship, because if we wouldn't have been able to explain to each other like, hey, we're getting too close, we're getting too codependent, we would have completely crashed and fallen. And I would not be living in this house with him right now. I love you, Isaac. And yes, money was definitely part of our downfall. I might have saved up $50,000, but Isaac didn't. I think Isaac had maybe $20,000 saved up that we somehow scraped into 2 years. I have no idea how. The gods, I think. I was more free with my money. I got massages every day. Yes, we were still sticking to pretty much a $35 a day budget, but sometimes I would splurge, and I would splurge a lot. And yes, I did make some money from TikTok, and I made a little bit of money with YouTube and a little bit of money with brand deals, but nothing to continue this full time. It might have helped extend the trip a little bit, but it definitely didn't cover all the expenses. And I might have started feeling very free with my money, but eventually we were counting every penny. And when you're in a mindset of abundance and you're just kind of spending your money as you wish, because you know it's coming in, abundance will follow you. But when you're counting every penny, every dollar, every single day, you will feel poor. And how does someone feel poor after traveling for almost 2 years? I don't know, but I did. I felt like I had no money. And we did. We came back with pretty much no money. Oh, to also kind of go back on content creation, I started to get into this almost like frantic, like panic mode where I had to put out as much content as possible because I need to gain more followers. I need to get back to that 16,000 followers that I had. So the quality of my content plummeted, completely plummeted, especially because I got tired of spending 3 hours editing. So a lot of my content was shit. And I thought this was a big regret, but coming back to it, I see that it's not. I regretted putting everything in storage, and I mean everything. I have a massive house right now, and all that was put into extra large storage unit that cost me, I think, almost, because they kept increasing it, almost $400 a month, plus my car payment, plus I still had to pay car insurance on that car payment, even though it was in storage and I wasn't using it. So every single month, I think my bills here just from my student loans, my car, and the storage unit, I think that cost me about $1,000 a month. So I really regretted in the time that I was spending $1,000 a month living in Vietnam, Thailand, Bali, and also $1,000 for my bills, because that means that every month that I was living in Bali or Nepal or wherever, I could have been spending an extra month there if I didn't have all the things I did here. But I will say, coming back to such a cushion made it such an easy transition coming home, because I didn't have to get pots and pans and forks and a bed and a couch and TVs and things like that. I already had it. So I might have said in my travels many times that I regretted all the money I was spending here, but honestly, it was a blessing, because I would have not easily transitioned into American life if I didn't have all the things that I kept. And now that I'm back in America, I have a few realizations. First one is you cannot create when you're just surviving. And we were surviving. We were counting every penny. One big regret I have is not having even a part-time job with stable income coming in. Another thing is not caring anymore about the quality of my content and not posting consistently, because I would get all sad and then be like, I'm not gonna do it anymore. And then like 3 weeks later be like, no, I gotta do YouTube. I gotta make money. Another regret I have is not enjoying the time that I had while there and working most of it away. And lastly, not doing things by myself. Am I giving up on full-time travel? Hell no. Do I have a plan? Hell yes. And here is my grand comeback plan after having time to really recollect my thoughts and settle in and have a clear path going forward. First, this time I'm trying to save $60,000 to $80,000 before I go. I would really prefer 80,000, honestly, because I want to keep at least 20,000 for coming back. So that's 60,000, about $1,000 a month. That's about 5 years that I could travel without a job. Second thing I'm gonna do is have a part-time job that I can work remotely. The job allows me to work internationally. I have no idea what that's going to be because I'm a registered nurse. So unless I want to hop over to Australia and switch over my license and do everything just to make some money, I'm gonna have to come back. Or I'm gonna have to find a job that allows me to work remotely. So that might mean, taking a big pay cut. When I could make $40 an hour, I might have to do some receptionist stuff for like $10, $15 an hour. I don't know. But I can promise you it's gonna beat being so stressed about money 24/7. And the reason I want to save up so much is to have such a cushion to where if I lose that job for some reason, I have 5 years just kind of free time to find a new job. It's impossible to fail pretty much because in 5 years, I can guarantee you I'm gonna be able to find a new job. So it's a really good cushion that I'm gonna have. And that's on top of having $20,000 coming back to. If I fail again, which I won't. Am I going to continue YouTube and TikTok? Yes, I love doing it. I love making content. Am I gonna spend 90% of my day editing videos? No. I'm gonna set aside a certain amount of hours either per week or per day that I make content and I edit my content. As far as being scared of doing things by myself, while I'm in Austin, Texas, I'm doing a solo Saturday surprise, which is actually Saturday today, and I'm gonna pick what I'm gonna do, but I throw things in a hat and I pick something out and I go have a solo date by myself. So that's why I've dressed up for a solo date by myself, and I'm gonna take myself out somewhere and it's gonna be a mystery. But I'm doing this because it's going to get me in the mindset of doing things by myself. It's going to get me comfortable with doing things by myself. And by the time that we go to wherever we're gonna end up, who knows if it's Europe, if it's Asia, South America, I don't know where we're gonna go next, but wherever we end up, I'm gonna be more comfortable doing things by myself. And that way I don't have to rely on my boyfriend. Also, while working a part-time job and editing videos, I'm gonna make sure I'm outside of the apartment or the hotel room. So if Isaac's there, we're not in the same room, especially because it's not gonna be quality time together. It's gonna be me working. I am going to keep a lot of my stuff and put it back in storage. However, I'm gonna spend the time that I am in America selling a lot of my stuff because right now I have 2 couches. I don't need 2 couches. I think I have 4 TVs. I don't need 4 TVs. I probably don't need this kitchen table, but there's a lot of things I'm gonna keep and I'm gonna put it in a medium-sized storage unit. That's the max I'm doing. So that hopefully instead of $400, it's maybe $200 a month. Also, I'm gonna get rid of my car, which petrifies me because it's very scary coming back to no car. But if I'm working remotely, then maybe it will be a little bit easier to transition. However, Isaac's also gonna sell his little Miata that he loves so much. So neither one of us are gonna have a car, which really petrifies me. But who knows where we'll end up in America, maybe New York, I don't know. So maybe we won't need a car. But that way, between my student loans and the storage unit, hopefully my bills here will be under $400 a month. And that will be a lot more sustainable than $1,000 a month, especially with part-time income coming in. Kind of backtracking to content. When I make content traveling, and this is a hard one for me, but I'm going to learn to not care about views. Because if I'm gonna put my heart and soul into making content and I'm gonna care about the views, it's only going to put me in the same trap of worrying and stress and just trying to make it, which then my content won't be authentic. And speaking of, a lot of my content, honestly, was very influencer style. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of people don't know this, but I'm actually very spiritual. I love to do ecstatic dancing. I actually threw and co-owned a ecstatic dance festival back here in America. I love meditating. I love doing kirtan. I love dancing barefoot in the mud under the moon, howling at it. But you didn't see that in my content. You saw very like, oh my God, this brand sent me this thing for free. I make fun of myself because it was so inauthentic, and I've promised myself that I'm gonna be more authentic in my content because there's enough fake shit on the internet. We don't need any more. I'm a bougie hippie. I'm 50% both bougie and hippie. That's why my friends always call me the bougie hippie, but you only saw the bougie side while budget traveling somehow. I made it work. I'm not gonna make content creation my entire life. There's a lot more to me than just making content. And I'm not gonna rely on content creation being my sole form of income. And who knows, I might have to come back again. But I know that each time I'm gonna eventually go back out traveling. And each time I'm gonna know more and more of what I want and what I don't want. And therefore, I'm constantly growing, constantly creating, constantly evolving, and that's what life's about. And constantly traveling. And that's all I want in life. So if you want to be a full-time content creator or a full-time traveler, I hope this video was very informative for you. And I'm gonna try to make some videos while I'm here in Austin, Texas. And hopefully in maybe a year and a half, you'll see me traveling again, because our goal is around January 2027. And if you subscribe to my channel, please don't let it be to watch me fail, because that's not gonna happen. Okay, hope you have a good day. Love you, bye!
Now, a few things to check out. Don't forget to get my free packing list below that I put in the caption. No email required or anything. It is clickable, and if you have Canva, you can actually edit it yourself. So if you want to change something, add or delete, you can do that as long as you have Canva, and it is free to you. Also, I am now offering to 3 clients at a time for me to plan your travel trip. So if you're traveling in the next few months or even next year and want help planning your trip, I got you. Also below in the caption, I will put my price list and how to contact me for that.
I hope you enjoyed this video, and just a reminder, my name's Nini. I've been traveling full-time with my boyfriend Isaac for 10 months now, and we put out multiple videos each week, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.